This is the Epomaker AK84S, a mechanical 75% hot swappable wireless and wired keyboard with RGB, Mac, Windows and Android compatibility that costs around $100 and is fully programmable. Considering all that, I also expected to get a personal butler, but instead I got a problem, but more on that towards the end of the video. This is the black aluminum frame version of this keyboard with black, white and red keycaps, but you can also find it in black or white plastic versions which are cheaper, or white aluminum, translucent acrylic and fully aluminum grey versions with the same keycaps or with panda ones, both using PBT plastic. And for the last two variants, you also have the option to purchase the frame on its own, so you can add your own keycaps and switches since this keyboard is also hot swappable. But in case you don't want to do that, you obviously have a buttload of options when it comes to switches, such as blue, red, brown, black, white, silver, green and yellow switches, all being gated or mechanical. Now supposedly you should be able to also choose chocolate versions of these switches as well, but I can't seem to find the option. But I did find the option for optical switches if you prefer that. Although keep in mind that if you decide that you want to swap the optical switches with Cherry MX ones or some Zelius and such in the future, this version of the keyboard doesn't support them. It only supports optical switches. On this keyboard I got chocolate blue switches, tapping test later on the video, but to my knowledge they are basically the same as Gator and Blues, so you're not missing much. When it comes to the unboxing, I should mention that I got this keyboard as a pre-order from their Kickstarter, so I got some extra stuff for free that to my knowledge you now have to buy separately. Those things being a pair of GK2 silicone keycaps, which you can get for about $50 that you may have already noticed that I use on some of the buttons, and a few extra switches to test out with the switch puller. Now the stuff that you'll get as well are obviously the keyboard, a USB-A to USB-C cable, the manual and a keycap puller with extra keycaps for the back. Because yes, this keyboard is also compatible with Mac and Windows, but more on that later. As you may have noticed, the layout of this keyboard is quite peculiar. It's small like a 6% keyboard, but has all the keys of a 10 keyless one. This is because this is a 75% keyboard that is in my opinion the best size overall, but especially for gaming, since it provides you with more mouse space without sacrificing the function row and the dedicated arrow keys. Although you do lose the numpad, which if you do need, then I suggest the GK96S keyboard from Epomaker, or simply purchasing a separate numpad to use only when you need it. As I said before, this keyboard uses black, white and red PPT keycaps that according to the site they have a GK1 profile that at least personally I find very comfortable, especially when you raise the height of the keyboard using the adjustable fade. You'll be able to tell during the typing test at the end of the video. And it is also wonderful for travel, considering how you can detach the 1.8 meters long cable, and even though it doesn't weigh that much, the keyboard is still quite sturdy. It doesn't flex, nor does it bend, due to its aluminum plate. And even though I can't comment on the other keyboards, I can guess they're probably the same. Also, as I said in the beginning, this keyboard can also be used wirelessly using a Bluetooth 5.1 connectivity and a 4000 mAh battery, and it can also be used with Mac and Windows since it's compatible with both, but also with Android all at the same time. Unfortunately, I haven't tested these modes enough to make any noteworthy comments, but for the little that I use them, I can at the very least say that they work. And according to the site, the keyboard can be used wirelessly for about 5 weeks without RGB, or for about 50 hours with RGB. If you want me to make a video where I test specifically these modes for gaming or everyday use, feel free to let me know by leaving a comment below. This keyboard also has software, but you can use most of its functions straight out of the box with the included FN key shortcuts, which I'll go over hastily. FN plus tilde key, keyboard on-off switch, FN plus 1, 2 or 3, switch and pair between Bluetooth devices, which means you can also be connected up to 4 devices if you're also connected via USB. FN plus 4 is a battery indicator. FN plus 5, driver mode, basically a custom mode that works as long as you have the keyboard plugged in and the drivers are running. FN plus 6 is the Windows mode. FN plus 7 is the macOS mode. FN plus 8 is the custom onboard mode, basically the same as drivers mode, but the macros and so on are saved on the keyboard's memory. FN plus 9 is the backlight on-off button. FN plus 0 is the light effect pause. FN plus minus are the backlight effects 1 through 5 that can also be modified. FN plus equal is the backlight effects 6 through 9. FN plus down arrow is the backlight brightness decrease. FN plus up arrow is the backlight brightness increase. FN plus left arrow is the backlight effect speed decrease. FN plus right arrow is the backlight effect speed increase. FN plus space is the Bluetooth on-off switch. FN plus control is the keyboard sleep mode, and FN plus Windows key locks or unlocks the Windows key function. Also, if you mess up with the drivers and the keyboard doesn't work properly, you can hold FN plus 6 for 3 seconds, or on the back FN plus 7 for 3 seconds, and the keyboard will reset. And by double clicking the FN button, it goes to held function if you don't want to keep pressing the button while switching modes. In case you want to customize this a bit more though, as I said previously, there is software which you can use to customize the RGB effects and macros, or you can simply download pre-made ones online. And even though the software is quite confusing and will probably take quite a while for you to get used to it, for once the software works on my PC, so that's a +1 to Epomaker, although unfortunately that's where the positives end and where the negatives start. Or well, I say that, but what I mean is that there's one major problem that I noticed with this keyboard. At random times, the keys either don't work or they input twice. At first I thought I was crazy, but soon enough I realized that this was a serious problem that also wasn't the first time that I encountered. I found that usually cheaper Chinese keyboards like this often get this problem where the keys start to get loose and don't connect properly to the PCB, resulting to double clicks or no clicks at all. Luckily for this keyboard though, after I removed the keys and switches and cleaned it a bit, it seemed to work properly again, even though some of the switches seemed to be dead and needed to be swapped. That's where being hot swappable came in handy. Overall though, I'd still say that this is a magnificent keyboard no matter what, because when we count the pros against the cons, we get a mechanical keyboard with multiple switches and frame options, compatibility with Windows, Mac and Android, both wirelessly and wired, RGB with a ton of styles, a 75% format, PPT keycaps, being fully programmable and hot swappable, all that while costing around $100. And the only negative that I found, I was able to fix it by cleaning the keyboard and swapping some faulty switches. Honestly, I can see that you can hardly find a better value keyboard than this, even though the problem was annoying. But after all that mumbling, I'll let you enjoy some ASMR. So now that you know whether or not this keyboard is for you, you probably need a mouse. So go to this video where I go over the mouse that I used primarily for the past 4 years. I hope this wasn't a time waste. See you later. Bye.
It's good. It's good. Lucifer! Let's see. What am I even doing right now? It doesn't work. Okay. Good enough.